All right, folks, we got a pumpkin cheesecake coming up. So we've got about 13 graham crackers going into the processor. We're going to grind those up with a tablespoon of sugar and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. I really like to use a processor for this. Some people would just grind them up by hand. Seems like that takes forever, especially when you can just close this thing up and give it a couple of pulses, and away you go. Now, once I get it ground up, kind of like sand, maybe a little finer than sand, I don't put the butter in yet. I'll pour this into a different bowl and then mix the butter in that way because I don't like to get all of that in my processor if I don't have to. Because why make things more of a mess than you need to? So just stir this up until it sticks together. You're just making a crust is all. So nothing really fancy here. I've also done this with ginger snaps, and that turned out pretty good too. So choose your own adventure. All right, I've got a little foil in the bottom of my springform pan. I'm just going to pour these graham crackers with butter and sugar and cinnamon in there. And then I'm going to take a spoon, back of a spoon, and just kind of press it down until I get it nice and even. Sometimes I'll even use the bottom of a cup or bottom of a glass for this just to make sure I get it how I'd like it. And some people really come up on the sides here, or some will just leave it, kind of like this. Either way, it kind of just depends on how thick you want the middle of your crust to be. There's just all sorts of ways to do it. And then once you get this pressed in how you want it, put it in the oven, 350, for about 8 to 10 minutes, just to kind of set it up real good before you pour your filling on top. Right now into my KitchenAid mixer, I've got 3 packages of 8-ounce cream cheese at room temperature. I'm going to go ahead and get that going a little bit. And then to that, you're going to add 1.5 cups of brown sugar. And just kind of have that, let that mix together until it's nice and fluffy. And you'll probably have to scrape down the bowl a bit just to make sure that cream cheese gets all incorporated in there and nice and lovely. Right here in a separate bowl, you want to get your other ingredients mixed together. So that's 15 ounces of pumpkin, which is 1 can. Make sure it's pumpkin and not pumpkin pie filling. Your 4 eggs, your 1/4 cup of sour cream, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 2.5 teaspoons of pumpkin spice, a little bit of salt, so maybe about a 1/4 teaspoon, and then a tablespoon of vanilla, and get all that mixed together well. Now what you want to do on low speed is combine the pumpkin mix with your cream cheese mix. Just kind of add it slow. And you just want to mix that until it's combined, and you're going to have to scrape down the bowl somewhere in the middle too. All right, now what we're going to do, well, one thing I didn't tell you is I turned my oven down to 325, and I also have a glass pie dish in there half filled with water because you want steam. It should help prevent your cake from cracking, but mine cracks sometimes anyway. So anyway, I'm just going to transfer this into the springform pan that you had your graham cracker mix in. Like so. And then once you do this, you want to tap it a few times to release any air bubbles. That's the other thing that can cause your cheesecake to crack, would be air bubbles. So I've got that. And I'm just going to turn it a couple times. I can see some rising to the top. Then this is going to go in the oven for about 50 minutes to an hour, just until the edges get set, and it'll still be a little jiggly. That's another thing I have problems with. A lot of times I cook mine too much, and it'll crack. But you know what? When it cracks, it still tastes good.